Okay, I've started a recording. Then I'm just going to share my screen. Let me open Anaconda. So can anyone tell me like what we did in the previous session? Anyone remembers like what we did? What we did in the previous session, guys? Can you recall? Yeah, we studied about if else, that is decision making, correct? So today we will be studying about something that is known as loops. Very good. We'll be studying about loops. Okay. So we'll study about for loops. So let this thing start. I'll show you what is for. Why it's not opening? Yes, Ashi, tell me what help you need. No, you don't have to click on Koto now. You have to click on the search bar. Or you can just give. Okay, so we'll start with for loop. Okay, so now what is for loop? Basically, for loop is nothing but it is a iterative statement, correct? It is a iterative statement. Now, can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me like what is iterative statement? Let me give you permission to unmute yourself. Okay, now you can unmute yourself. Okay. So can anyone give me the like what do you understand by an iterative statement?
Repetition.
Okay, recursion or repetition. What else? Yes, what else? Anyone knows?
Same action will be executed multiple times.
Unless the through statement has been proven through, correct?
Yeah.
Unless, or you can say end of the statement has occurred. Okay. Now there are some scenarios over here where you will be using for loop. That means you have to use iterative statement over here. So iterative statement is nothing but if I tell you like, okay, I have 10 items. Okay. Let the item be like, okay, let's suppose I have five items. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Let's suppose I have 9 items. Okay. Now, if I tell you like, okay, I want to see whether like, where is the end of this item? Okay. If I want to see like where this item is getting ended, how you will check where the item is getting ended? Or I'll put it in a simple way. Okay, if I tell you, just tell me like I have a container where there are some elements. Okay, these are the elements which are present inside my container. Can you tell me like how you will come to know like how many elements are present inside your container?
Length.
Okay, length. So basically you will be checking like in the first position there is for one element, in second position there is two element, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, ninth, right? Now when you come at the last element, you'll come to know, okay, this is the end of element. That means this is the last element which you can see. Apart from this, there is no other element. Can you see any other element apart from this? No, right? There is no element. So you will say, okay, this is the end of the element which is present inside the container. but you have to go through each and every element, correct? Same task you have to see. Okay, you have to take this element, you have to put in one jar. You have to take this element, you have to put in jar, correct? So this is what you are doing, a recursive task, correct? You are repeating this task multiple times. Till when you are doing? Till you come to the end of the statement. Okay, over here also for loop will be also working in the same way. Okay, now if you want to check like what are the elements which are present inside any element or in any variable, so you will be using for loop over here. Through the for loop we can just count like how many elements are present over here. Okay, got it, the meaning
Yes,
of
sir.
for loop. Okay, so if you want to write a for loop, mm, if you want to write a for loop, there are some syntax which you have to follow. Like if you remember in the if else part, how you used to keep in mind about the indentation and all. Over here also you have to write it. Okay. Now let's suppose I create a variable that is var1. Okay, in which I'm adding an element that is apple. Okay. Now you want to see like what are the items or what are the elements which are present inside your variable. Now, if you see over here, which is what the type of data, what it is, the type of data over here,
String.
it is a string.
String.
Very good. So now if you want to see like what are the contents of your string, like how many elements are present inside the string. So how you will do, you will see the length. Okay.
Length.
Yeah, either way is like you can go and you can just say, okay, I want to see the total number of length over here. So I'll give print length of variable one. But if you see over here, you're getting a number. That means till now you're not able to access the element, correct? You're not able to access the element. You're just able to see the count of the element, correct? So if I go either way, I can give this thing, that is print var1, correct? Now if I give this statement, what will be the output?
That will be printed the value of variable
Apple.
wow.
Okay, it will not print the value of the
Apple.
variable, it will only display. Okay,
Yeah.
just remember one thing, the sole purpose of your print function is just to display the thing. That's it. Whatever thing you want to display, you will be using print statement over here. Okay, now, as I told you over here, like print variable one, if I do, I'll be just getting the display of
First
the element,
letter.
correct? So if I run
Yeah.
again, see, you can just see the elements which have been displayed. The whatever things your variable one is containing, you can see those things, correct? You cannot access them element. If I want to access an element, I have to use something known as iterative statement, correct? So over here I'll be using the for loop. So to use for loop, you have to give a command that is for. Okay, you have to create a temporary variable. Let's suppose item. I create a temporary variable item over here, and in which variable or in which field you want to check, give that. Okay, so when I give for item in variable, okay, now whatever elements are present inside variable one, it will be one by one access and it will be stored inside item. Okay, one by one it will be accessed and it will be stored inside your variable one over here. Now there are some indentation which you have to follow. Okay, you have to give print item over here. Now what will happen over here is, see, now when I come to the for item in variable, okay, so for loop will go inside the variable var1 over here and it will see, okay, what are the things present over here. So the first letter is A. Okay, it will access the first letter, it will store it in the item variable and that variable will be printed over here. So you will be getting a first value as A over here. Then it will go to the next value, that is P. Okay, so P will be stored inside item and it will be displayed. Till where it will go? Till E. Okay, now once it comes to E, it will see there is a negative value, that is there is no value over here. So over there your loop will be terminated. Okay, your loop will be getting terminated. Now if I run this, can you see the output? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so this is how you will be accessing the element. Now it stopped, the loop stopped where you saw like the end of element was E, because after E we don't have anything, correct? So over there it stopped. So this is how your print for loop will be working. Okay, Now, if you want to directly access an element, so I can say that for x in, let's say a string you are taking, and the string let it be as Python. And when I say print, you will just say print x over here. So when you run, see, you can directly access an element also over here. Got it? This is how you can access the elements over here. Any doubts in the syntax of for loop? So over here, you will be getting a sequence of character which is present inside the string. Any doubts? Simple, right? Simple or difficult?
Simple.
Okay. Yeah.
So I see we can if we are able to print it, we can save these to different variable as well.
Yeah,
The
you can.
outputs.
Yeah, you can save
Okay.
it to variable also. Firstly,
Uh,
whatever value I have stored it in some variable, and I'm trying to print that variable. Correct?
Right.
If you want to print the output, okay, you over here you can see the output. Correct? But if you want to store the output somewhere, you can use file concept over. So this whatever output you have, it can be stored in Excel file, or it can be converted into your PDF file, or it can be converted into notepad also in a text document. So you can do that also. Yes,
Hello,
Shashank. Hello.
Akshay. I have a concern related to previous class actually,
Okay.
and it's relevant as well because like I just want to know length is a function, right?
Correct.
Upper was a function,
Yes.
right? So sometimes we do variable is x dot upper and bracket close, right?
Yes.
And
So
here
yeah.
we are writing length and variable in bracket. So when we use dot notation and when we write the variable in bracket, so it is bit confusing. That's why
Yeah.
I
So
asked.
that's why what the only solution over here is, you have to follow the different function. Okay. You have to study like how these functions are called and how these functions are used. Okay.
Okay, then you just need to refer the help, right?
Yeah, just need to refer the help. Like you have to see the textbooks, or you can just follow the what you can call the built-in functions. Okay, we call this as built-in function. These are not the user-defined function. These are already present here in Python. So how these functions are called, you have to keep in mind.
Okay.
I think we can do that also over here. Now, if I give over here like print, we have,
Sir, I think upper and lower are the methods, not the functions.
yeah, exactly. Upper is alpha. Those are the methods.
Method, not the functions.
Yeah,
But the length is the function, or
yeah.
print is the function. So that's why bracket is used.
Yeah, length is a built-in function. But let us try whether we can take it or not.
It won't work. It won't work. I have checked.
You have checked?
Yeah.
It worked.
No, no, it is working. Like upper, as you
Okay, okay, I
told
got
that
it.
it
I
is.
got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So over here, I have to take length, I guess.
Right. It won't work.
Yeah, because you can see over here dot is not, it is taking a variable name itself over here. Can you see?
Yes.
Variable dot length. It is not a function now. See, if it is a built-in function, it will be in green color.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, you remember I told you one example, okay? Or just take an example. If I tell you to print a number, like if I tell you to print a square of a number, okay? Print a square of number from 1 to 10. How you will do that? What is the square meaning?
Same number multiplied by same number.
Yeah, so that is square, correct? So if I tell you to write a program to print square of a number from 1 to 10, can you write in simple way, like the normal way which you see? Yes. Hello. You got my question, guys?
Using the for loop or without for loop?
It's up to you whether you can do with for loop or whether you cannot do with for loop.
Oh, okay, sure.
Not the multiplication I'm asking, Abdul Rahman. I told about this thing. Square of a number. So you have to write a square of a number. Square of a number is nothing like if you take two number, or let's suppose you take a number and int just say enter the number, you can say like this. Okay, so over here the user will be entering the number, so just give print
Num in num.
num into num, correct? But do you think over here it will be for one number only? It will be for a single number, correct? If I run this, if I give 4, so it will be 16.
I guess we need to give double star here.
That will be
it?
power, correct? So it will be same over here. If you give double, so it will be raised to, so it will be the same value only. If I give 4, no, this will be different. If you give double, it will be power of that.
आपोआपच घेतलेलं ग तर त्यांनी सगळे पैसे मग हा का असं
So
म्हणतोय?
what you have to do is, if you have, you'll give
कंजूस आहे तो
Live.
तोंडावरनच दिसते ते जुने नळ आणून दिले त्याच्यावरनं
कोण आहे रे भाई?
So if you see like over here, you have to write a whole code, correct? You have to write for each and every number, and it will be very time consuming. So in Python, in for loop, we have a function known as range function. Okay. Now range function is nothing but it will be defining a range of numbers. So how this range of number will be working? Okay. Let's suppose you want to print a number from 1 to 10, correct? So I'll say that for item in range, and just mention the range over here. Okay,
1 to
range?
11.
Yeah, 1 to 11. Now why 1 to 11? Because it will be 1 minus of that number. Okay, it's a syntax of Python where you will be getting 1 minus of that number. Now you have to give over here like you have to give a message where you will be multiplying the item. Okay, so you can just in simple words you can write over here like if you want to have a proper GUI, you can say that square of which square of item, correct? Because each and every number over here from the item, it will be stored inside the, from the range, it will be stored inside the item, correct? And then it will be printed. So you have to say item, then I'll just say is what it is. Item star item, correct?
Right.
Yeah, item into item.
Yeah, it will be item into item. So now if you run it, see. Or else can you do one thing over here? Can you ask the user to put to give the input? So you just say item over here and just say integer input. Just say like what you want. Enter the number for which you want to give. So over here we'll get only 1. We don't require range function over here. If I give 1, so it will be 1, 1 is 1, 4, 4 like that. Got it? So this one is not required over here, because as it is, we are giving the range function over here, correct? And that range will be automatically storing inside the item. So this is how you will be doing it. Now the next you have to do is this is square, correct? Can you do for the cube of a number? Yes, guys, will you do for the square of a number? Find cube of the number. Yeah, cube of the number, you can just do it like you can multiply it by thrice. Okay, thrice of it. Okay, now we'll do to find the we did for to check whether the number is given even or not, correct? Okay, we did a program which used to find the number whether it is even or odd. But it was like it was only taken a single number, correct? So now by range function, what we'll be doing is we'll try to find out the range of numbers. Within that range, we'll see whether those numbers are odd or even. Okay, so what will be the first step over here? You have to write a loop for item in range. So let's suppose I want to search from 1 to 30. So I'll take 1 to 31 over here. Okay, what you have to say, if item, what it will be? If item
divide by 2 equal to 0.
Not divide by, it is percentage by 2 equals to 0. So it will be print
Even number.
Even number.
We
Okay.
can print the number
Or
also.
else, yeah, or else it will be odd number. Now, if you want to see whether the number is odd, like over here, I just printed the number even, correct? I just printed whatever even number I had within this range, I have printed that one. But now if you want to print odd number, what will it will be?
Yeah, that equal 1.
Okay,
Just
just
0,
Not equal
just
to 0.
okay, it
0
will be,
replaced by 1. Yeah.
so that means
One.
whatever remainder you get, it if it is equal to 1, it will be. But I don't think it will be working. Okay, it worked. Yeah, so this is the thing which will be getting. Okay, so you can just say like the text message over here, the odd numbers
within
are,
the range.
so just give a comma, just the odd numbers are 1 2 3 1 3 5 7 9, like that. Okay, so this is by using for loop. Now the next example you can think of is can you write for a multiplicative of a number? Like you remember in the previous session I told you like how you will be calculating for multiplication of a table, right? Like 5 ones are 5, 5 twice are 10, 5 threes are 15, correct? So can you write a program for that? Anyone wants to try? Just
I would
take the input from the user. Okay, just take the input from the user and tell the user, whatever number you want, just provide it, we'll do the multiplication. So I'll say num over here. So I'll say enter the number. Fine. Now what it will be for x in range. Correct. So what will be the range over here? Well, let's suppose we want to find
1
from,
to 11.
okay, 1 to 11, it will be 1 to 10, correct? Now what it will be print? Num into x, correct? Everyone agreeing?
Yes.
It will be num into x or something else.
Should be num into x.
Okay, so let's see. So here it is asking me to enter the number. So let me give a number as 5. I got the multiplicative of that number. See, now can you compare, like I told you in the previous session, to write a multiplicative number. So you were taking one number, then multiplying with another number, correct? So it was very lengthy. But if you see over here, by using iterative concept, okay, the for loop, your work is easy. Yes, shall I solve more example?
Yes.
Okay, we'll see for else demo. Okay, what is for else demo? Now for else demo is nothing but over here when I try to access an last element. Okay, let's suppose now let's suppose I gave a number that is for x in range 6. So if I give for x in range 7, what will be the number which is printed? What will be the output over here? What will be the output over here?
0 to 6.
0 to 6. Very good. So these numbers will be printed over here, correct? But when you print 0 to 6 over here, I just get the number over here, correct? 6. But can you see any prompt which is telling you like, okay, this is the end of your loop?
No.
No, right? So you need some message which will be telling you like, okay, this is the end of loop. Over here, the things have been ended. So for that, what we will be using?
And again, conditional. We have to check that if x is EOF, then
Okay, end of file. So you can just simply say over here, else print.
Range is completed, then
Yeah, range is completed, correct? But we are not getting any prompt saying that, okay, the range is completed. So you can say over here, end of for loop. Okay, now what condition will be over here is, see, when you say range 7 over here, each and every element will be shifted over here. X, Martin, be on mute. Okay, now each and every element will be shifted to X and that element will be printed. So it will start from 0, it will go till 6, correct? But when this thing is executed, it will see, okay, what is the next part? So it will say, okay, in the else part, I have print and for the loop. So it will print over here because Python will consider, okay, this is one type of condition and this is another type of condition. Now, once this condition is through, when it comes to the else part, that is the next part of the code, it will say, okay, this is the path. Or you can just over here also, you can say like print end of.
The break statement also can be used.
Yeah, we can use break statement also. So that will come under your switch statement. Okay, that time we'll see. So over here, if you see, we have else. Okay, so we have to add this. Now it will work. But else over here will be acting as a condition. If you want to display whether it is like a end of statement or not, you can use this one. Okay, so we have range function over here. So which we saw. Okay, that is the range function as well. So if you want to print something from this number or not. Now, can anyone tell me like if where this range function can be used in networking? Any guesses?
Port numbers.
Interface range.
Okay, you can just give the interface range.
Sorry, in VLAN number.
Yes, very good. We can use for VLAN also. Okay, you can just say the range over here, that is VLAN, and you can do.
Like if you want to call IP addresses from a file.
Yeah, very good. If you want to search, so you can just give the particular IP address also, and you can just search from the list or from any document also. So this will see in the file structure. Okay, when we'll come into the file part, we'll see like how to read any specific letter from the document or how to add some specific element to the document. Okay, now just can you write a rough code where I'll be just printing the number of VLAN? Can you do that? Take the range, okay, and just try to print it. Can you do? Just try to create multiple VLANs by using range function. So this is the reason I don't unmute you, because someone or the other, they will be on the unmute, and I'll be getting noise from their side. So I told you, can you create VLANs?
Yes, we can.
Okay, just try.
So for VLAN in range 10, print VLAN.
Sorry, can you say again?
So for VLAN in range 10 and then print VLAN. VLAN is like
for VLAN in range 10. No, we cannot take 10. If you take 10, 0 will be printed, but 0 is the VLAN which we cannot use, correct? Nor we can
1 to
say
11.
nor,
Sir.
yeah, very good. So it will be no. Again, 1 we cannot create. By
2 to
default,
11, sir.
yeah, by default it will be in VLAN 1, so we cannot use. So you have to keep this thing in mind, okay, guys. Mudassar, whatever he said, it is a genuine question over here. Like you cannot start the range from 0, or you cannot start the range from 1, because 0 is the VLAN which we cannot see, which we cannot use, neither which we can delete. But okay, Shashank, I'll just see your output over here. So you gave 22101, and I'll say print.
Sir, if we have random VLAN, so we have to deal with file handling, right?
No, what you said?
If we have random VLANs like 10, 11, 13, 5, 6, not in range, but random.
Okay, if you want to create random VLANs, so you have to create a text file, then you have to read that text file. Okay, so whatever elements are present inside your text file, through that you can read it. But if you want to create a VLAN like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, over there we can use list also. Okay, so can you see the VLANs have got created over here from 2 to 100, correct? So as you can see, it just got created within second. So what do you think? Is CLI easy or working with automation is easy?
The range command is also used in CLI as well.
Okay, I agree. But can you pass 10 switch information into a single function via range?
No, that cannot be possible.
So that we can do with the help of your Python. Everything has pros and cons, right? So over here, I just created for a single switch. But if I pass the information of 10 switch, it can create VLANs for 10 switch within second. Okay. So
Sir, for that VTP,
if you take VTP also, you have to go in the client server. Okay, you have to go in the client machine and you have to give the VTP domain password and all. Yes, but over there also you have to mention that this is the server client, this is which mode, client mode, and all. But over here in Python, you have to just give the information of the interfaces. That's it, the IP address. We don't have to give any other information over here. Got it? Any other doubt?
No, sir.
For other configuration, this is very good thing. So instead of VLAN, so if you have like 10 switches with the similar configuration, we can push through
Yeah,
this.
you can just push the same
platform.
script. Yeah, just the same information or the same configuration. Just if you think if you want to change the STP, okay, you want to check the STP mode or the STP type, you can go with this type of configuration or this type of scripts. So this will be easy, right? To just write the code. You just have to write the code once.
Yes.
Okay. Let's suppose over here I just created a device over here. Okay, and I just give the device information as 192.168.1.100. So every time what I have to do, I have to just change the information over here. Correct? I have to just change the IP address. So it will be 90, it will be 200, 233 like that. But if you see on the CLI, I have to change the entire thing, correct? I have to do everything from the start. So that is one advantage over here. Okay. So we'll move to the next part now.
For switches also we can give the range, right? For example, serial wise, if we have the IP address for the management IPs, so we can do in this way also, right?
Yeah, you can do in this way. So what you can do is you can just create a text file, or you can create a list or an array. Inside that you have to pass those information. Okay.
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 sir, do one example on pyramid.
Do one example in
Sir, pyramid, like triangle or something like that.
pyramid.
Yeah.
What is pyramid?
He wants to say Paramiko or Netmiko.
No, no,
No,
no.
no, sir. era में मिस्र जिसको नहीं बोलते.
अच्छा, array.
Acha, you are talking about pattern.
Pattern. That. Yeah.
The star one and all, correct?
I think arrays.
Yes.
No, not arrays. I know what he is talking about. He is talking about the pattern example, like we get a pattern as pyramid, triangle, and all. For that, we have to use the range function, right? So it will be
Yes.
it will be working as a row and column.
But we have to call loop in a loop.
Yeah, that is nested loop, loop within loop.
Nested
First,
loop.
yeah, first loop will be executed. After that, the next loop will be executed. So for that, let's do, okay. Wanna try?
Yes, sure, sir.
Okay. So what you want to print? What you want to display? What pattern you want to create?
Sir, hash sign.
Hash. This one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let it be hash. Okay. So you want to create a pyramid of hash?
Yes, sir.
Pyramid will be difficult because the logic, I think. Yeah, it will be little difficult because others
No,
will not.
it's easy, sir.
Okay, you write the code for pyramid. I'll explain the basic one over here.
The print 1, then print 2, then print 3, like this.
That also you can do like the number printing. I'll just show you one example. Okay, so let's suppose you take one variable that is for I in range. Let's suppose I want 10 elements. So 10 elements, what will be the range? It will start from 1 to 11, correct? 1 to 11 it will go. So I'll say for j in range. Again, it will be 1 to 11. Yes, because I want to make a square of this number. Like I want to make a square of hash over here.
Yeah.
So print
Sir, for J in range I.
for j in range I.
Yeah.
No, why for j in range I?
Sir, just try.
Let me do this one, then I'll do. Okay. So over here, if I give for I in range, I will be printed over here. And for chain, it will be printed within it. Then hash. See this one, right? Yes, Mudassar.
Sir, now try J in range I. Yeah.
So what it will do is over here, can you see I have a blank space? This is the blank thing, correct? So it will wipe those things over here. So if you start, it's like this, okay? If you be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it will be -1, -2, -3 like that. So that's the reason you're seeing it is like this. But over here, there will be values, which is taken by space. Okay. Pattern programming is different thing. It is like you require a high thinking for that, correct? Mudassar, it's very difficult, right? For
Yeah, very difficult, but concept will be.
if you understand the for loop, like the functionality of for loop, for within for, nested for, okay, that time it will be easy.
Yes, yes.
So for that you have to attend the Python course, okay, in which everything will be done in detail. Okay, so I don't think while is important. Okay, while loop is not important because you can go with either for loop or while loop based upon your scenario. So whatever things we have in networking, I think for loop is enough. Okay, through for loop you can do. So we'll not do while loop over here. We'll straight away jump to list. Now, anyone knows what is list? Have you heard of list? List is a data type.
Yes.
List is a data type that you can store
It's like
somewhere.
an array.
You can store more variables on it.
Yes, you can store
It's
different types of data inside your list, correct? For example, if I create a variable over here, that is var1, okay, and I store some value over here, like Akshay. So if you see over here, this variable, it can only store a single type of data, correct? It can store a single type of data. But what if you want to store many values, whether it is same or different types of values within this variable? Is it possible?
yeah, when using list type, possible.
Yeah, it will be possible. But if you go with this variable method, is it possible? No, right?
No,
So we
cannot.
will, yeah, no, right? So we will be using list. Okay. We have different types, like we have list, we have tuples, we have dictionary, we have set. So these are the different types of sequence type of data which we'll be using for storing the data. You can store data into your this list variables or any other type of variable. Now let's see over here if I store some more variable, whether it will be working or not. So let's suppose you create a variable that is list one. Okay, or let's suppose you have a IP addresses. Okay, and you want to store some IP address over here. Now let's suppose you have an IP address that is 192.168.1.1. Then you have again 192.168.1.2. And if you have one more over here, that is 192.168.1.4.
I think we have to use plus sign for concatenation.
No, we don't have to use plus. Why you want to use plus over here?
in order to concatenate the two strings, but I don't think this will provide the error if we are using comma between two strings.
No, it will not give you an error. I got that output. But you will be thinking, right? I just took an IP address, which is a normal variable, and how these things are like it can accumulate so many information, whether it is whether it is a string, whether it is an integer, okay, whether it is a Boolean value, or whether it is a floating value. All it can save, correct? But if you see over here, this is not any variable. Okay, this is not your normal variable. If I just try to see the type of it, okay, if I give the type of it, what do you think? What type it is?
List.
No,
A
this
string,
is no,
a string.
no. This is known as tuple. Can you see tuple over here? So tuples are nothing but they are also like your list, okay? But over here, tuples can be denoted by circular bracket. As you can see over here, we have circular brackets. You can denote it with circular brackets. But by default, tuples don't require any circular bracket. If you give information in this way, it will be taking, okay? Now there are huge difference between your tuples and string. Now if I create a same variable like this, same variable I'll take, okay? IP addresses. And if I give this same IP address over here, let me take the same IP address or the same information which is present over here. And over here, I just take a square bracket. Okay. Now, if I just see the print over here.
Array.
No, it will not be array.
Dictionary, I guess.
No, this will be list.
List.
Okay. So this will be list. Okay. If I print over here, like, sorry.
Okay, when I give square bracket, it will take as
yes.
a
Now,
list.
yes. Now remember one thing. If you go for DevNet exam or if you go for Encore exam, has anyone given Encore exam recently? CCNP Encore?
Yes, I have given 2 or 3 months.
So did you pass?
Yes, pass.
Okay, so I think you might have seen this types of automation question, right? Where they used to ask the type, whether it is a list, whether it is a tuple, whether it is a dictionary. They used to give like blocks of statement. There you will be having like JSON values and all. Correct? They will be asking you which type of data it is. Have you seen that question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this thing, if you go for like the NP level exam, not in CCI written also they will ask, okay, but not in the lab exam. This is just for your like theory purpose, okay, whatever practical you have, for that purpose you can go over here. So now over here, if I give IP address type, it is list over here, okay, it is giving list. Now I'll create one more over here.
The difference between tuple and list is changeable, but the tuple is not, right?
Yeah. We call it as mutable and non-mutable. Mutable means changeable. Non-mutable means
We cannot modify.
we cannot modify. Okay. Now I'll tell you the reason also why you cannot modify.
Akshay, can you please? Actually, these guys know. We do not know. So can you please explain?
No, I'm just giving an overview. Today I'm not going to start with the list and just I'm giving you like I'm just showing you the difference. Okay, you know, right? Whatever if I teach, I'll be teaching from the scratch. So don't worry, I'm not starting the actual thing over here. I'm just showing you the difference. Okay, because see, if I show you the difference over here, you will be start thinking like, okay, why this is happening like that? Why this is tuple? Why this is like that? Correct? So that's the reason I'm giving it. So I'll give iOS type over it. Okay. Now, if I just run this thing and if I just try to see the type over here, like if I, yes, it will be dictionary. So if I give the type of
Combination of
see, we got dictionary over here, correct?
Combination of key and value.
key and value.
Yeah, we call it as key and value, correct? So my only question over here is, see, whenever you see this type of question, okay, whenever you want to store multiple type of data, okay, you cannot store in a single variable. Yes, as you can see over here, I want to store IP address, like multiple IP address, like I have multiple interfaces of my router. Okay, let's suppose two interfaces. I want to pass on those IP addresses. So it cannot be done via normal variable, correct? Normal variable will not be able to save it. So what I'll be doing is I'll be using this type of data type. Okay, so in Python we have different types of data types such as list, tuples, dictionary. Then we have one more set. Okay, so these types of dictionary, they have different functionality based upon your uses. They are having different functionality. For example, like some are mutable, then some are immutable. Okay, some hold key value type, some will be not holding key value type. Okay, so these are the data types which we will be studying from now onwards. Okay, now this list, okay, as you can see list over here. Now lists are always enclosed within square bracket. Okay, lists are enclosed within square bracket. Tuples, they can be enclosed in round bracket. Okay, this circular bracket which we call, you can enclose them in circular bracket also. Then over here dictionaries, they are differentiated by flower, but over here you can see like we have a key and we have a value to it, correct? So this is how the dictionary will be working. So this thing will start from tomorrow, not today. I'll not do this one today, we'll do it tomorrow, like what is list, what is tuple, then what is dictionary. After that we'll study about function, then we'll study about file handling, then we'll jump to some Python scripts which we will be using for automation. Okay, by Wednesday we'll do that. Then we'll start with Postman. We'll study Postman. Like we'll see like how with how with Postman scripts we can just automate the stuff. Okay. So do you have any doubts in today's session?
Hi Akshay. Akshay, regarding the last one, dictionary.
Okay. Yes.
The colon which you are included in the brace brackets.
Yeah.
Like it is a notation to be used.
Yes, it is a notation to be used because this is the key and this is the value. For example, if you have.
Can you? Okay, tell me.
Yeah. Tell. Yeah, ask.
No, I mean, I was just asking you the same thing. Can you just give me an example of that en value?
Okay. So let's suppose you have a car as an object. Okay. You have a car as an object. This is the IP address, right?
Okay.
Over here you have a car as an object. So what will be the key value types? Like you just create an object that is car. You can say model or brand as Maruti Suzuki, like that. Then you can say model, then like Baleno you can say. Okay, then color you can define. So these types of things you can go with dictionary, where you will be having keys and values to it. Okay, now you will be thinking like why I have to use it, correct? Now whenever you pass on information like to the router, there are information such as your IP and the IP address, correct? The username, the password, if you are doing SSH, the encryption password, that is the secret password. Okay, then the device type, whether it is Cisco iOS, if it is Juniper, Palo Alto, you have to define that thing also, because Python doesn't know.
Exactly.
Correct? So that time we will be using dictionary. Okay, now if you want to push any configuration, for example, if you want to see show IP interface brief, okay, if you want to see, so that time we will be using it in list.
Okay.
Okay, so don't worry, I'll discuss this thing in detail. Okay,
with the examples of networking, correct?
Yeah, with the examples of networking, whatever lab I have, I'll explain you. The reason I'm going very slow in Python is because I want you people to understand the basics in Python. I don't expect that you be master in a Python, but at least like you understand 50%. Okay. See, no one at the initial stage, they will be writing the code on their own, correct? They will be referring the code from here. But the main thing over here is you should understand the code. Okay. Now if I simply just jump onto the code and if I start explaining, okay, this is that, it will be very difficult. Okay, unless you don't know the ABCD, you cannot frame the sentence, right?
Sure.
That's how we will be going. Okay, so tomorrow we'll start with tuple, list, and dictionary. Fine. Okay.
Thanks.
So we'll meet tomorrow then. Okay, guys.
Okay, Akshay.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for the
Thank you so much.
clarification.
Yeah, take care, guys. We'll meet tomorrow.
Thank you.
You too. You
Thanks
too.
a
Have
lot,
a nice day.
Akshay.
Yeah.
Thanks.